Good afternoon. Welcome again. My name is Laurie Rothwell, and I am here at Pieces of My Art, actually in my dining room. But anyways, welcome. We are going to draw in watercolor today. I just love doing this with you guys ever since we've had the orders that were supposed to be at home and school was canceled and all that stuff. I just thought this is going to be something that I would love to do with everybody that's around every afternoon during the weekday, giving mamas breaks, maybe a much needed little quick nap or some coffee or just whatever, or all the grown-ups can join in painting too, because we know that painting is good for our heart. I love everybody that's been joining, kids and adults alike. It's just been so much fun. And we're kind of winding down towards the end of the school year, so we have another week of school for us. So I would love your feedback on your thoughts of how we could continue to do this somewhat in the summer. I know I won't be able to do it every single day, but I don't feel like I just want to stop doing it. I love doing this so much. So give me some feedback on what your thoughts, what might be something you would like to see in the summertime. I have been uploading all of these to my YouTube. Why is it so hard to say that? YouTube channel, so it takes a while to do that, but they will be available there. Of course, they're always going to be available on my Facebook page, but you never know when Facebook decides to shut something down. Sometimes Facebook can get wonky, so I've never had anything happen to me, thankfully. But anyways, I have this super awesome well watercolor that I found that I just thought was just absolutely beautiful. So I thought it would be fun to do today. So Caden is having his apple and peanut butter right now, so he'll be in here in a minute. But anyways, I'm going to hop over and we are going to draw this well. It's just going to be fun. It's a humpback well. So anyways, and I'll have a story for you to go with it. So anyways, let me jump over here so we can get started. And make sure I'm over my paper so you guys can see. Okay. All right. Make sure you say hello if you're joining us to paint, or even if you're just joining to watch. Always love it when you share. Sometimes I forget to remind everybody all the things that helps me out with my page, and as a business owner, I'm growing my business, and even just now moving into an online presence has been super awesome. So anyways, when you guys share, it just helps a lot. Commenting helps a lot. Oh, thank you, Sheila. My hair's getting a little frizzy today. But yes, I got nails and hair done this week. I needed it so bad. I think kind of the longest I've ever gone without having my hair done. I've never been somebody to do my nails on a regular basis, but I did start last October when one of my boys got married, and I like these. They're dip, and I like them so much better than anything that I've ever had because I don't notice them. Usually it's like acrylic or gel, I'd be picking at them all the time, and so these are they just feel like part of my nails, and it is nice to have them looking nice, so thank you. Anyways, welcome everybody, thanks for being here. This well is going to be fun. And I'm trying to decide if I want a bigger paper for this. I don't know. We'll do it on this one. Who knows? Maybe we'll do a second one. But this one's just fun. Caden, are you going to come join us, or do you want me to go ahead and start?
Just start.
Okay. Well, you're so fast anyways. You probably catch up.
How peanut butter mess.
Okay. Well, please clean up your peanut butter mess. Thank you. All right. So we were going to start with, so in these classes, if anybody, this is the first time you've joined us or whatever, we're just drawing with a Sharpie. It's just a good way to get comfortable with drawing and not being afraid of mistakes, because when you make a mistake with a Sharpie, guess what? You can't erase it. So we have to go with it. It just kind of builds your confidence. It frees you up to be able to draw and do things without feeling like you have to erase things. So we're doing a Sharpie. And then we do watercolor, because watercolor is just so much fun. So we're going to, and I have, this is actually watercolor paper that I'm using. You can use a heavy cardstock, copy cardstock from the, I went and picked up some at the UPS store. It was not my favorite. It's great for drawing on with Sharpies. It's not the best for watercolor. It just doesn't, it just really gets wet really quick, and it's kind of hard to get your colors to do the same that you would want to on this. All right, so we are going to start with, we are going to draw this well, so it's going to be a view of it as if we are in the water with it, under the water, okay? And then there's the water line and then the sky. So all I want to do now is just make my water line right across. And yes, water lines are pretty straight. No, my line's not perfectly straight, but water is level unless there's movement in it from the waves and the wind, which that can sometimes be scary and crazy. All right, so we're going to draw our well, and then this is, it's just a picture of somebody else's watercolors I found on Pinterest, and they're just so neat. So we're going to do a ship up here and a well, and I'll just kind of give you the perspective of how big a well is. When I was a teenager, we went to, my brother got married in upstate New York, and we went there for his wedding, and then it was my mom and dad and my grandma, and she had a sister that lived out on Cape Cod. And so we went there, and my dad took us out in a boat to go whale watching. And although they said usually they sighted humpback whales every single day, every once in a while they would see finback, but not all the time. Well, we never saw a humpback, but we did see a finback whale. I would have loved to have seen a humpback though. But it was on the boat we were on. It wasn't a real huge boat. It wasn't real small either. I mean, there could be a lot of people on it. But I could not believe when this whale breached, which wasn't the tail like a humpback does. It would just come up, the whole body would come up, surface, and kind of go back in. And it was, I couldn't even comprehend how big it was until I saw it in real. Just humongous, long, and those aren't even, you know, some of the biggest whales. So anyways, it's just amazing how massive and beautiful these creatures are. So anyways, enough of that. Let's do our well here. Okay, so the nose of the well is going to be pointing upward, and almost in, hang on, almost, not quite in the very center, but to the right just a little bit, because we want to have room for the body to swing down this way. And so we're going to start about a third, if we divide this in thirds, so about a third, maybe a little more than a third from the right side. So I'm going to start almost touching the water, but not, or the line. And I'm making a slight curve, and then I'm going to go down, going straight down. And I already jacked this up. You guys, sometimes things don't always come out the first time the way you want it. You guys stop just a minute. I'm going to flip this over. I don't usually ever do that, but this is way too strong of a curve. So I am flipping this over. Sorry. Sometimes we just have to have a do-over, and this was one of those cases, because if I start that out like that, it's not going to look right. All right, there's my horizon line. Okay, now back up to his nose. Okay, I did not want that big of a curve. I just a slight curve. Okay, so I'm coming down, pointing right down towards the bottom, but I'm not going down very far. Now I want to start curving over towards this corner. Okay, and stop. So I came down and come to the left just a little bit. Now I'm going to make this part of the fin on its back, just by going in like that. Okay, so now I'm going to come down and make a curve down, and I curved out, and I pointed back down again. All right. Because this one's going to be a little bit trickier to do just because of the angle of it. It's not a full just looking directly at this side, but we can get this done. We can do it, okay? All right, so before we do the tail, I'm going to come over here and I want to look where I started. And I'm going to come down here and look where the bend is. And then before I get to the fin. So I want this side of my well to come out. And about where it curved in here is where it's going to bend around this way. Okay? So I want to go ahead and this I want to curve out. Okay, hang on. We want to stop right here at this curve. So I want to stop here because I want this big fin to come out down here. So I stop directly across from where my finger is, where this first bend is, okay? Now, I want to come in towards the middle and up. So like where I stopped, and here's my curve. Okay, so I want to go up just a little bit. Imaginary line right here. Not right in the middle, a little to the right, and I'm going to go up just a little bit, maybe an inch, maybe not quite. And I'm going to make a C right there. Okay, so this is where my fin is going on. They have the big paddle fins, and they're kind of wavy, and it curves in just a little bit. Okay, the other side looks almost like gives a little bit of a knife shape. I can't think what kind of knife this would be. But then we are going to meet down here. It doesn't come to a point, so I'm going to just go ahead and put a little curve on that end. But I'm going to make a curve and come out and a curve and go in, okay? Probably a little much on this, but we're learning. Obviously, this is the first well I've drawn. Okay, so there's his fin. It probably should have been less than that because it makes it look a little wide. So we could, because we're going to shadow this, I could continue to bring it in just a little bit more. Are you not going to draw with us today, Caden? Everybody's missing you. They're all wondering where you're at. Okay, so now I want to come back to this line. Where I stopped at the fin, I want to draw my finger right through here so I can see where I'm going to start again. And I'm going to come down to where I stopped, but I'm going to go over this way. So I'm going over to the right, and I want to go up just a hair. This is where I want to bring this in. Just like that. Probably go in just a little bit more because that's where his tail is going to be. Now it's starting to look like a well. All right, so in the picture that I'm looking, his tail's a little, looking at it from the side a little bit to where the fin on the far side's up higher because it's farther away. So we're going to start with the half of the tail that's closest to us. So I'm going to start on this point. I'm just going to curve out and down. And then bring it in just a little more. Then I'm going to just do a little one on that side because it's farther away from us, okay? So now I need to figure out where the middle, which is going to be longer on this side and shorter on this side because this is farther from us, okay? So I'm going to go up and curve down and come up kind of right where the tail stops on his body, where it's connected. Okay, so then I want to do the same thing, but it's going to be closer together. It's not as long because this side's farther away from us. So a bump again and a little point on the end of it. So that's this part of the tail's on the opposite side of his body. It's farther away from us. Now there's a little bit of a curve in the tail where it's curved over, and I just want to paint a lighter color on this. It'll just help us with the shadowing a little bit, and I'm going to go ahead and connect all that. So this little section right here is just like the tail flipped over just a little bit towards us. So So when we paint all this will be really dark down here because that's all shadows. This is going to be brighter on top of this, brighter. The bottom sides of the body will be darker. Where I carved in his fin here just a little bit, we'll use some darker so his fin doesn't look quite as white here. All right, so now we have the fin on the other side that we just see part of it. So over here, and it's only going to come down to about, it's about 2/3 down where the end of this is. So I'm going to come out right above this one, about an inch up, about the same level, but it's coming from the other side of the body. And then I'm going to come out from here. So there's his two fins. Alrighty, now up here on his face, his mouth. So their mouth is way up on the top side of their face with their eye. So we're going to come, there's a little bit of a separation I had right here. So where we first started, we curved right to the left just a little bit. So now I want to come follow along the top of his head, about half the distance between where I start and the top of his fin, okay? So I'm just coming along half the distance, and then I'm going to curve in, and I'm going to come right down to where his fin is. So I came in straight, I curved in and came right down to where the fin starts. Okay, in this little curve area is where his eye is going to be, so I'm just making a black circle. You can do the eyelid around it if you want. And then they have all these grooves under their mouth. So you can go ahead and just take your pen. And I'm following along the part under his body. And I'm making all these well grooves here. I don't know what they are, but I call them well grooves, huh? And you don't have to do all of it. That looks pretty awesome. Okay, so now up here, this is just, and we'll do this really simple. There's a boat up here, and it's like a pirate ship kind of boat. Just to show the size. Now this isn't a mean whale. He's a nice whale. He's just, I told Caden, he's just sniffing this boat like dogs would sniff each other or us or whatever. But anyways, okay, so we're just gonna do a little pirate ship here going on. Caden and I used to like to draw pirate ships all the time when he's got a pirate bedroom. But, so we would always like to draw pirate-y things, didn't we, Caden?
Yeah.
So I'm just putting some masks on here. Whatever works. Flag, or it could be a crow's nest, some ropes, because they got to be able to climb up to their crow's nest. So anyways, I'm not putting a bunch of detail in this ship, but we just want to show how massive our well is compared to, that might be a little exaggerated, who knows. Alright, so now we're going to watercolor. So, trying to think if I want to start with the well first. The colors in the well are blacks and grays and blues and purples. So we're going to use these colors right here on mine. The water is the same colors, they're just lighter, so more saturation of water. And this is more of a concentration of paint. So I think I'm going to do my water first, just so I can kind of give it a chance to dry a little bit around my well. So I'm going to start with just getting my paper wet right around the well because it soaks in pretty fast. So, and the beauty of watercolor, it's not like you have to have all the colors blended together. This is where it's fun. It's already getting dry. So I'm going to take some purples. Now I want blue in here too. So I'm going to get my blue going. And I want to get kind of a navy blue. I really don't want it to be like this aqua blue color. So I'm going to change it up here. And I'm going to get it grayed a little bit by using a little bit of black in with it. Now I don't want a lot of black. Let's see, I need a paper towel here. But I want to get some black and it'll make my blues and my water darker. Now more water makes less, not as highly concentrated of color here. Now again, if you get too much, talking to myself here, if I get too much water, too much paint, then my paper starts getting really wet. Okay, I want to show you a little bit. Around the body I couldn't do as much, or I didn't, but I want to show you where we can start dropping in color. So I just want to outline them just a little bit, and then I'm going to take all this and get it wet. Again, you need to do a section at a time because it'll dry too fast. So I'm just putting my purple in there, I'm going to put some black in there. Some blue is in there. I don't want it that blue, so I'm going to go ahead and mix it. And the other thing you can do too is you can let it run. And as it dries, it'll have a different texture. Now I'm going to blend it just a little bit. But you can let those colors run down, add more water down here. So it just kind of runs down your, and it won't matter if it gets on the well because we're going to use the same colors for our well. Sorry, I got it up here, just add a little bit more color. I didn't get it probably as wet as I needed, but it is, it's running a little bit. I need to open the dam here, so it's kind of stopping, so I'm adding water. So it will go, that'll drip down unless it's really wet, as much places as I have water. Another thing, you could squirt it with a spray bottle. But anyways, I'm not going to go all the way down on that side. So I'm going to come over here, finish around my well's fins. I can bring this color down. You can make it darker at the bottom if you wanted, because you're getting deeper down in the ocean. It's kind of whatever you want. You didn't feel like drawing today, huh, Caden?
Mm-hmm.
JC and Kinsey have been joining in my painting classes probably just about every day that we've had them, but they're not here today because today is JC's 11th birthday. So I want to tell JC happy birthday. Her mom messaged me and said that they wouldn't be in today's class at 1 because of her birthday. JC, I hope you had or are having a wonderful birthday today. And happy birthday from us here. Alright, so I just kind of get all this color going in here. I can add more water if I want my colors to blend a little bit more. But I love just seeing all the different colors going on. And then we're gonna paint our well next. Now that my paper is just kind of, I like the purpley blue better than the turquoise for this one. All right. May have to turn my paper over though to paint the well because my hand's gonna get in it. All right, so there's our water. Now you guys can, before you paint this, if you wanted to add, or even after it's dry, you could draw other sea creatures in there. All right, so I'm turning it upside down, so I hope this isn't confusing. Well, maybe. I don't want it to confuse you though. So we're gonna go up, because we wanna know where the shadows are gonna be down at the darkest part. So we're gonna start up with our well's nose. I'm not gonna do as much wet on wet on this part because I want my colors to be brighter. So it's a little wet, but not as much. I also want to be careful that this isn't bleeding out into my ocean here. And I'm also not worried about exactly where I stop because I'm going to add other colors inside the well part. I want other colors on it. Remember, watercolor always dries lighter than when you paint. So it seems really dark. Also too, if you get too dark, you can absorb some of it up with a paper towel. So you can have some lighter areas on it. Okay, so this is where I'm going to do more black, and I don't want it all black. But down here, so long, remember where I made his fin too wide, so I'm doing more black along the edge of this fin and all along the bottom of his body. And then the end of his tail. So that's darker. So more black, it's going to be less color there. All right, the other place that's going to be a little bit more black is this fin that's on the far side of him. Because this is farther away. I love the ocean. I love everything about it. I love the mystery of it. But just to think that if you're on a boat and what's going on in the world below you is just amazing. To just think a creature like this could be right below you. This isn't scary to me at all. They're not out to hurt us. It's just so cool. Doing a little bit more black. So I'm kind of eliminating that place where with my Sharpie I just got it too wide there. All right, so now I'm using the paint that I already have on here to kind of paint the rest of his body. Because I didn't want it as dark. And it reactivates the paint too a little bit. So it'll kind of blend in the little color. Chunks of paint coming out of my paint thing. So remember the tail underneath side's really dark because it's a shadow. Shows it, pushes it underneath. And let's see if I can, normally you don't do white on top of color, but I just want a little lighter. Probably more of a getting the paint wet and lifting it off is going to be more effective than trying to paint white paint on something. Alright, I feel like I need, this is so cool looking, I love this. Go a little darker around the bottom side of his body. Dark kind of around his eyes a little bit. He's got all kinds of patterns on him. Patterns and markings and battle scars or whatever, but isn't that cool looking? Okay, so really quick. So now, and I love how this little bloom right there is on his body. Okay, so now I'm going to turn it around and I want to do the sky up here. So I'm going to just, the picture I'm looking at, it's like nighttime, so, and I'm not even going to worry about my boat, okay? Because it's dark. I may try to not paint on the cells themselves so they stay lighter, but the rest of it, it's just dark. So it's like nighttime. So it's like they're out selling, middle of the ocean. Only thing that's out there would be stars. And I'm just going to use black. And you guys totally, I'm using a reference photo that I found off of Pinterest. I did not do the research to find out who gets this credit, but this is not my original idea. Get so many ideas from all the beautiful artwork that's out there. It's just good to practice, good to draw, you know, so it took me forever to give myself permission to think that it was okay to even draw somebody else's picture. But it's not like I'm trying to make it identical and then say this is my art and I did this and I'm selling this or whatever. So just showing you how you can just take artwork and you can practice and play with it. So I'm trying not to get my cells the cells on the boat, sorry. I get focused on something and I don't remember what I'm saying. I do want the sky behind the cells to have. So whichever ones are cells, I don't know, I've lost track. This was a fun one. I think all my paintings are fun. But I just love how the watercolors do their thing. I'm gonna go a little bit I feel like the outside edge of his fin maybe needs a little bit darker. At first it looks like you've really outlined it, but when it dries a little bit, it softens out. There should be a texture in his fins, but alright, you guys. Is this one fun or what? Alright, for those that are in my Heart Club membership, we are going to be back tonight at 7. And I have a super fun thing we're going to do tonight. So if you guys are part of that, I can't wait to do it with you guys. Thanks for coming and watching. If you guys are still on here, make sure you say hello. Share it. I just see a lot of people that stop through and probably stop for a minute to see what I was doing, but this is just, we've been doing this every day now for weeks and weeks. I don't even know. And it's just something, it's fun. I was asking for what your thoughts were as we move into summer. You know, how much of this would be something that would benefit you? Would you enjoy more of it? Just give me some ideas of what you think, because I know I won't be doing it every day. I am doing it. I got class we have tomorrow, and we got Friday this week, and then we'll do it next week. It won't be every day next week. I do go back to my assisted living facility and get to paint with them next Thursday, and I'm excited about that. I've missed painting with them. So anyways, thanks for hanging out. This was fun. I love doing this one. And I don't know what we're doing tomorrow. It's on my Facebook page. You can see what it is. And when I get a chance, I'll look and see what it is too. But anyways, totally spur of the moment, everyday type thing. I just pick out the week before what we're going to paint. And then I look for ideas. And then we paint whatever it is that I can find that would be fun. So you guys have a great rest of your day. I'm ready for warmer weather. I think we got some rain in the forecast, but I'm glad that the temperatures are warming up because I have been freezing. So you guys, we will talk soon.